Hey guys, Monster Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today we are jumping in for one final run on the Universe 6 Infinite Dragon Ball History stage. I normally like to do at least one or two videos on the new stage with a couple of different teams. And so as you can see from the thumbnail, which it's not the best, I know, but I had a lot of fun making it. We are doing a full Universe 6 team versus Universe 6. So the Universe 6 Civil War begins. Shout out to the homie Goresh. Yet again, we are using a Rainbow Kefla friend. So what we're probably going to do is have her on rotation with the LR Kale and Caulifla, and then have the Tech Caulifla and the STR Kale together on a rotation, because obviously they benefit hugely from being run side by side. We didn't actually use the STR Kale in the original run on this stage, so it'll be good to see how well she can perform. And then of course we've got the Kabe on the team as well. He is going to be so good for both rotations, because every time he floats around onto the Kefla and LR Kale and Caulifla rotation, he is of course going to be buffing up Kefla, which, considering we have the Rainbow friend, she's going to be putting out some pretty crazy numbers, especially later on once she's fully transformed. Plus he changes orbs, so it makes it a lot easier for her to get 6 orbs, which means once she's up to Super Saiyan 2, we're going to be getting that guaranteed additional super attack. And then obviously when she floats in on the Kale and Caulifla rotation, the STR Kale is going to be getting a massive buff. And by the time we get to the end, when we get to hit and dodging is disabled, Tech Caulifla of course will not be able to dodge, but STR Kale's defense is going to be so insanely high that it's really not going to make much of a difference. So I guess we float off, yeah, we'll float off Caulifla here, do this and then grab those for you. I imagine this will be a pretty straightforward run. Like, so many of these units stack defense and are incredibly powerful. A lot of them have the, like, Kefla can dodge, even the 55% Kefla, as long as we get enough orbs. And then of course as soon as she becomes Super Saiyan 2, it's just baked into her passive. So this team is going to be very, very good defensively. The only liability is probably the physical Champa, but he is a 40% support unit for Universe 6. So it seemed like a good idea to bring him on the team, just to give everybody that massive buff. And we are going to see quite a lot of damage and good defense from pretty much the entire team, aside from him, I guess. But I'm sure there's at least one int phase, right? I mean, he'll be okay. I don't know how many STR phases there are. I know we've got this Magetta that we're fighting now. I'm not sure how many other ones there are, so he's not going to be too much of a liability. But I do think this team could potentially no items this run quite easily, but we'll have to see. So we'll go ahead and put you first. I'm going to try not to get any of those STR orbs to drop down from there, so we can get the 6 orbs for Kefla. Although I guess at this point it doesn't really matter, because the until she hits Super Saiyan 2, the 6 orbs just gets her the dodge. So I guess it's not really a huge issue when she's not being attacked. But once we get Kale on rotation with a Caulifla, then we're going to start getting that guard ability. Caulifla, they'll both be getting additional super attacks because we're fighting Universe Survival Saga enemies. And of course, in the Universe 6 stage, there are, what, 3 phases where you fight against Pure Saiyans as well. So there's going to be a lot of additional supers coming from a lot of our units on this team. So we get our first Super Saiyan 2 transformation, which will be my Kefla, so probably makes sense to go ahead and do this. And of course, because we're fighting Universe Survival Saga all the way through, we are going to have the option for the active skill pretty much whenever we want it. So I'm going to save it for now at least, and we'll go ahead and do this. So obviously Kale and Caulifla 3.3, they're going to be putting out a ton of damage, constantly getting additional supers, and they build up their defense so quickly that I mean, even at this point, if we weren't facing an STR enemy, they're probably already at the point of taking double digits from normal attacks. So since we've now got this phase where we do have an STR enemy, they're going to have this extra chance to build up while basically taking no damage whatsoever. And I think we got the 6 orbs for Kefla, so 2.6 on the 55% Kefla is pretty good. And then we get the guaranteed additional super to finish off Frost. So we absolutely decimated Frost in this one turn. So hopefully this will be a pretty quick run. I don't know if we're talking like, you know, good sort of speed run time, but this should be a very good run overall. So go ahead and do this. Plus, of course, we have so many units that stack their defense, and we're going to get those numbers up to being pretty high. That means we're just going to get a ton of free healing from the same type orbs as well. So we shouldn't really have to worry. I mean, the only thing that's probably going to force us to use an item is if we're unfortunate enough to get one of those type disadvantage super attacks, probably on somebody like Champa. Once most of them are built up, to be honest, I guess Kefla, like, she'll have that 50% chance to dodge, but if she doesn't dodge an AGL unit super attack, it'll still do quite a bit of damage. But the LR Kayle and Caulifla and then these 2 base form Kayle and Caulifla that we have on this rotation, they're not really going to take a lot of damage from supers. Especially Kayle, now that she's with Caulifla, she guards. So yeah, 84 damage from the Kabe super attack. So Champa's probably the only one that's actually going to take some damage here. Yeah, see, 58k. Oof. See, if he takes a super, he's going to be taking like 200 plus. So that's the only thing that will force us to have to use an item. And obviously, unfortunately, we have no real control over where and when the enemy is going to super attack. So can't get 6 orbs. So we'll go ahead and grab this and then get all of those for you. Get a nice big heal. And then we can't get 6 orbs. I think I talked about this in one of the last videos that I used Kefla, but I'm not going to use her active skill unless we can get the 6 orbs for that turn, because it gives you attacks effective against all types. So we really want to maximize the extra damage that that's going to give us by having the guaranteed additional super attack. So once we get to a point where we can get 6 orbs, although I guess when we use the active skill, she changes physical orbs to STR anyway, so depending on the layout of the field, it might actually change whether or not we can get 6 orbs. So I'll have to keep an eye out for clusters of physical orbs. But yeah, since Kabe is a pure Saiyan, Kayle and Caulifla are just going off and getting all these additional super attacks. He's going to super attack them. So he's got type advantage, but their defense should be pretty high now. Yeah, 52 damage. So yeah, not a lot. And almost a 2 million attack stat for the 55% Kefla with no support unit on the rotation. Pretty good. So the Universe 6 team overall is very, very strong now, thanks to the addition of Kefla and these new awakenings. Like, some of these units are just so good in the right circumstances, because obviously they pretty much get their maximum utility when you're fighting Universe Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan enemies for the most part. But of course, in the events where you not only can activate one of those, but like both at the same time, like we can in a couple of phases on this event, this team just absolutely shines. Not necessarily the strongest offensively, like we're seeing here, the Tech Caulifla, she doesn't put out like the most damage, but she is so good defensively that we just don't need to worry at all. So we can't get the 6 orbs here. We don't need to worry about that for the dodging, because now that is built into her passive, and we are going to get the Dokkan attack. So having the Champa in the last spot here is really good. Be good if you dodge this. Hey, there you go. That 50% chance to dodge from her passive kicking in. And then let's go ahead and get the Dokkan attack. I guess it would have been cool to use the active skill on this turn, because even though we're not getting the guaranteed additional super, it does mean that the Dokkan attack would be super effective. But we got Champa in the third slot for the 40% support. We got Kale and Caulifla up next. So this is of course the Rainbow Kefla, so she should do quite a bit of damage here. Yeah, 2.69, and then dodging away. Hey, look at this. Well, there you go, 50%, and she dodged every single attack. And then, thanks to the Champa support, LR, Kale, and Caulifla are at a 4.2 million attack stat, and that's mine have 2 dupes, so they're not rainbow. Still got 2 dupes to go for them to reach their maximum potential. Obviously, if you're somebody who's been very lucky with your pulls for LR, Kale, and Caulifla, then obviously on this team you could run the TUR as well. But I almost feel like you don't need to, because I mean, like, obviously if you've rainbowed the LR, then I guess the next time you pull them you're going to be working on the TUR. But like, this team is so good. Like, we have Kefla on one rotation with LR, Kale, and Caulifla, and then the base form Kale and Caulifla go super well together. So then you've already got another Kefla like floating as the other leader. If you had the TUR of the LR, like, I guess you'd want them on rotation with the LR, but then you're pushing like the other Kefla off rotation. So I mean, Kefla works as an off rotation unit because she's obviously very, very good, has that built-in chance to dodge, so it doesn't even matter in those odd instances where there are a lot of attacks. I guess like this rotation, really, for example, where there's a bunch of attacks in the final slot, it doesn't even really matter too much, because on a team where you're running like a weaker support unit in the third slot, some of those turns on the harder events where there's a whole bunch of attacks in the final slot are actually quite bad, and you need to think about breaking your rotation. Whereas obviously if you have somebody like Kefla in that final rotation, then you're going to be all good. So I'm going to go ahead and use the active skill now, just so we get the super effective. Yeah, I didn't change the language back to English this time, so you guys let me know out of the 2 which you prefer. But yeah, we can get the 6 orbs, so we're getting a guaranteed additional super, and they are going to be super effective, which is of course very useful to activate now since we're fighting the AGL. We're going to dodge this? No. So 246, and then she dodges the normal attack straight afterwards, so typical. But yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. But we shouldn't take much damage for the rest of the turn. And then we have our Kale and Caulifla on the next rotation, whose defense is going to be so high that if we can pick up a bunch of same type orbs with them, we are going to get a very solid heal. And then yeah, thanks to the active skill giving us the effective against all types, that was almost, what, 5 million damage that Kefla did by herself. And then of course now the LR is going to go off. They're going to get 2 additional supers guaranteed, and then we still have the potential for the hidden potential system additional to kick in. So I think we probably just finish off Caulifla here before Kabe even gets a chance to attack. So yeah, this team, obviously in the right circumstances, very, very powerful. So yep, goodbye Caulifla. And then let's see, what's our orb situation like for this turn? Oh wow, look at all those STR orbs. I guess I know who we're putting in slot 1, huh? So we'll do this. What is their defense now? Kale's 226, Caulifla 190. Okay, so we'll grab all of those. There you go, quite a nice heal there. Grab those for you. And then we might as well grab the same type orbs for Champa as well. So straight back up to 300k, and only Champa is going to be able to take damage on this rotation, so we are in a pretty good spot. Obviously now we're not fighting a pure Saiyan, so we're not going to get the extra bonuses, but like I said previously, most of them still get some sort of bonus against Universe Survival Saga enemies. Super attack should be fine, because we guard as well as having the high 17 damage. Wow. Because that's what's so good about Kale. Like, obviously Caulifla in the right circumstances, when dodge isn't disabled, she just dodges everything, so she takes 0 damage. But in situations where dodge is disabled, Kale is just so good because of that guard ability, Like, having ridiculously high defense and guarding, like, those two things combined, I mean, you saw there, even a super attack just does very little damage to her. Like, normally, an infinite stacking unit, if you've only just got to, like, 200k, and they take a super, unless they have type advantage, they probably still are going to take a fairly reasonable amount of damage. But yeah, with the guard active as well, there's just no damage at all, so that was great. And then of course LR, Kale and Caulifla's defense is so high now that they can give us a pretty good heal off of their orbs as well. And then look at that, even with no support unit on the rotation, Rainbow Kefla just taking double-digit damage from normal attacks as well. And yeah, she's putting out a lot of damage. Oh, there you go, dodge the super, that's what we need to see. And then another bunch of super attacks from LR, Kale and Caulifla. I feel like LR, Kale and Caulifla, as much as they put out all this like extra damage for free, like if you are actually going for some kind of speed run, or just, you know, not necessarily like an official speed run time kind of thing, but just like trying to complete this stage as quickly as possible, they're really not ideal, because they get so many extra super attacks, which is great for your overall damage output, but you just have to constantly, like, I wonder how much of the what percentage of this video, like when you factor in its overall runtime, like what percentage of this video is just Kale and Caulifla super attacks. So, but anyway, oh, look at that, tiny sliver of health, mostly dodges. I mean, that's not bad. 16k, that's on the 55% Kefla, so that's actually really good. And I'll get, yeah, we'll get Caulifla to go first, just because she's lagging a little bit behind on the defense compared to Kale. So we need to let her get an additional super attack off here, just so she can build up a little bit more. Plus, of course, she's in no danger of taking any damage anyway, since they literally can't hit her. So take them out. Is it hit next? Are we at the end now? Okay, cool. So we're at the final stretch. So next time he comes around, or she comes around, we'll be using my Kefla's active skill. We can get 6 orbs for you. That's awesome. That's a really good start. And then grab those for you. And so now that we are basically on full health, even if he super attacks Champa at the end, we'll be fine. But he super attacks Kefla. She doesn't dodge, so 89k. That's actually not bad, thanks to that big 40% defensive buff from Champa. And then that puts her at a 4 million attack stat as well. And we've got type advantage, and we picked up the 6 orbs. So yeah, there's 3 million damage on a crit. Now she's up to 4.2. Oh, he dodged. Outrageous. But yeah, that's a lot of damage in one go. And then 4.2 on. Yeah, they really like benefit from having that support unit on rotation. Like, both of these units have just put out huge numbers this turn. And then we get off these additionals. I completely forgot that Hit could dodge. So, but it's alright, he's forgotten he can dodge now against LR, Kale and Caulifla, so that's fine. We get a crit here. Yeah, 1.3. And then obviously they're not going to take any damage. And he's already supered, so we don't need to worry about Champa. He will take a lot of damage though. Yeah, 73. 73k is quite a lot. And so he does all sorts of stuff. So he's locked Caulifla in the middle, which is actually fine, because I wanted to put Kale in the first slot anyway, because now that Caulifla can't dodge, obviously Kale has much higher defense already and has type advantage. And we can get the 6 orbs for my Kefla. I didn't use the active skill again though, so thanks a lot, ambulance in the background. I feel like Nagato out here. Shout out to my boy. So yeah, we potentially could finish him off this turn, depending on how many additionals Kale decides to get here, because she's actually doing some very good damage to him. Yeah, double crits as well. So Caulifla won't do a huge amount of damage, but then Kefla's getting the double super attacks at the end of the turn. So pretty sure that's GG. I guess, to be fair, it doesn't really matter that we didn't use her active skill now, because giving you super effective against all types is kind of pointless when you already have type advantage. So is 55% Kefla actually going to finish off Hit here? Maybe if she gets the crit on this second one. Can we do it? Come on. Get that crit for me. So close. But I guess we'll leave it up to... Oh, no. Oh, hit. You're in trouble now. Okay, well, there you go. I was going to say, we were going to have Rainbow Kefla in the first slot. And he locked them in place. So I guess Kabe is just going to finish him off instead. Which he should be able to do. Even at 55%. Hit's really pulling out all the stops here, though, isn't he? He's going to do a fairly reasonable amount of damage to Kabe with that super attack. But it should be GG here. So, yeah, he really tried, didn't he? He pulled out all the stops against Kabe in that first slot. But 4.6 million attack stat now from Kefla. So, goodbye. And there you go, that ends the Universe 6 Civil War run. I think we did that slightly quicker than the previous one as well. So let's see the final time here. Yeah, we did. So yeah, we beat it by what, 2.5 minutes? So not bad. And no items were necessary. Even though he really tried. He did a lot of damage in that last turn, but it was not enough. So there you go. That is the Universe 6 versus Universe 6 Infinite Dragon Ball History video. Let me know what teams you guys have used for this event and what your best times are down below in the comment section. I probably won't do another video on this event. I'm continuing to do the Extreme Super Battle Road guides, because hopefully that will be dropping soon. So keep an eye out for those. And yeah, that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.